Evening, everyone. Well, we have quite a few people in the live tonight at the start. Welcome. Welcome to the new members. We have a new member, Strong's Us, but tonight's live stream is for all subscribers and for anyone else, in fact, to watch. Only subscribers can comment. Subscribers that have been subscribers for more than 20 minutes will be able to comment in the stream. That is to keep the riffraff out, and we haven't had any problems. So I really like that. It's nice to keep a good flow without any hassles. So thanks for coming into the live stream. I can see there's lots of Double O Days members here. Welcome to all of you as well. I don't want to exclude you, but tonight we want to get as many people in this live stream as we can and share this video as far as you can. Some of you might have heard some of the content that I'll share tonight, but I'll give you a new perspective as always. We have almost 200 people watching now. Last time we had over 500 people, in fact, over 600 people at the end of the day. So it was really good. Anything over 300 people watching is excellent. We have over 200 people watching now. So welcome to all of you. Okay, great. There's some non-members coming through. That's always good to see. Yeah, the topic tonight is important. There we have 250 people watching. Who actually runs a country? I have a couple of articles open to just demonstrate to you how decisions are made for the country and how we can change that around. I'm not going to keep you for longer than 30 minutes tonight, so it'll be quick, fast and furious. Hi, JDK, Suzanne, Anna-Marie, UP, Ernest, Elaine, hi. How is war? Paul, Olajay, if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry. Hannes, hi. I'm just greeting all the non-members now. Frank, the subscribers to the channel. Most of the people on this channel are subscribers. We're heading towards 42,000 subscribers now. And once again, we are in the top 5 at the first day of the week in fact, we're second for the most likes. SABC is just pipping me. And we are 5th for the most popular politics and news YouTube channel in the country, which is quite something. By tomorrow, that would have moved up again. So it's really great that we've got this kind of support at this stage, and we're making a difference because this is not a big YouTube channel yet. New. The channel Double O Days is just over 2 years old now. In fact, it's now 2 years and 1 month, 2 days ago. So, yeah, very new. And the subscription level on the channel is huge for a channel that is that new. However, you know, we're in a sea of so much information out there. And it's important that we get our information to the forefront so that we can give that different perspective. It's very important that that is possible. So I want to thank you for helping us in doing that. Okay, this live stream is already a huge success. We have 380 people watching now. And it's important to know who runs the country. And I'm going to go beyond the 4 families that were appointed to really take the country through this phase where it would be prepared to literally be malleable to the point where the country would accept this new world order. And this hasn't worked out for the elites running the country. They struggle to actually pull through with this. And I don't think they're ever going to come right. You know, the resilience, like Lauren said the other day, that sometimes we're too resilient because we can cope with almost anything. We need very little to survive. The South Africans are very good at surviving. The majority of South Africans have to survive from a day-to-day basis, literally. And many people survive on grants. So, wow, we have over 400 people watching now. Welcome to all of you watching. And we'll get into the crux of this live stream now. Once again, share this, like this. We need as many people as possible to like this video so that it can drive the algorithm so more people can get to see it. Hopefully in future, we'll be able to get over 1,000 people watching. But I mean, the amount of people we get watching now is really good for a channel of this size. And I want to thank you for that, for making that time and effort. Like I said, I'm not going to take you more than half an hour of your time. So we have 25 minutes to go. And this is a very important topic. Who runs the country? And the very simple answer is us. And it's unfortunate that we can't prove it with evidence. So we run the country because we are the majority. If there was anything else more powerful or stronger than us, they would be able to control us. But that is not the case. So we, at the end of the day, have a governance system. We have a government that do things to us that we allow. So I'm sure that you didn't expect me to say that we run the country, but we actually do. So who have we allowed to govern our lives and control the way we do things, and why have we allowed them to do so? And I will quickly speak about the 4 families that are actually in charge of how we do things, because we've allowed it. And that's the first point I need to make. We are allowing it. There's no foreign military. There's no foreign anything, banking system, nothing that can control us if we don't allow it. So everything that's happening to us now, we are allowing. We are fully and utterly to blame for it. So blaming anything else is wrong. We need to change that mindset, turn it around, go and stand in front of the mirror, look in the mirror, and see who is to blame for what is happening in the country. Because every person looking in the mirror needs to reflect. And I will prove to you why that is the case. The only democratic thing in this country currently is the fact that you can make a mark on a ballot paper. Okay, now many of you might believe that the system is flawed, etc. And that is not the debate now. The debate is simply this, that the only democratic thing we have left in this country, and I'll get to the people that actually control what we do because we allow them to just now, is to make a cross on a piece of paper, because our constitution allows for it to be changed. Okay? Our constitution allows for the constitution to be changed. To do that, you need 75% support in the current parliamentary system. So that is why most people just ignore this. They don't even think it's possible. But our constitution has allowed for change. In other words, it has seen the people that were involved in writing the constitution, the same way Trojan horses were built in there to actually get politicians to control our lives. There were people that built in Trojans against the system because they knew what would happen later. So that out is there. We can change that constitution. We can change the governance system. We can change how we elect our leaders. We can do all of those things. And that makes us the government. So the fact that when you go to the polls and you make a cross, even the president of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, becomes a citizen under our current constitution. So this is the only constitutional and decent thing in our constitution, is the fact that citizens can go and make a cross, and they are then the highest authority in the country, higher than the Concord judge. The highest person in the judiciary and in government is the Chief Justice of the Concord, because that person appoints the president in a post. That person at the moment is a Raymond Zondo, and what an absolute ridiculous thought that is. But I don't want to get sidetracked with that. What you need to know is that above Raymond Zondo, above the president, above all else, is you and that cross you can make. So the highest authority in the country is the ballot. And a lot of politicians don't want you to know this because they want you to just vote for them. They don't want you to vote for change that can actually help you, because the system was set up for the country to fail, for the government to fail, for us to fail, for our economy to fail, for Eskom to fail, for everything to fail, and for us people to turn on each other. And I will explain to you now the global elites, the 4 families that were appointed to literally run this country, that we've allowed to do so, how they've done that. Taken your power away so that you don't believe that your cross can make a difference. Okay. But what if I told you that you can have a movement that will want to change that system and do it via the constitution, where you get 75% support of the people in parliament now. You change the system and you can then directly elect your leaders, have a new constitution, have a new schooling system, and have a new judiciary, have a new everything. But mostly change how we elect our leaders. And this is vital because a party system in South Africa is the first thing that's used by the world elites to govern us and to control us and to run us. How is this done? Let me explain to you in detail. So we have over 500 people watching. Thank you very much. It makes us an extremely successful live stream. Please like the video and share it with your friends and family so that they can watch it later. There's 4 different families that run this country, and they had to be put in place for one simple reason. The media had to be controlled. So Naspers had to become a powerhouse of mind control. And Koos Becker is the person responsible for that. So Koos Becker is running a powerhouse of note. I mean, the program TikTok that all the kids are on, that comes from China. Tencent developed it. Who owns Tencent? Naspers. Who is Naspers? It's the Nationale Pers, the national press. That was established by the Broederbond, and it was supposed to protect Afrikaner interests, but it was all but that. It was a mind control method. In other words, people were fed narratives from the word go. From the word go. In the 1930s, they were fed a narrative for a very specific global elite purpose. So you needed to control the media. Currently, Koos Becker is that person. Then you needed to control the food that people consumed and the clothes that they wore. How do you think a small little thing, companies such as Pep, becomes Shoprite, Checkers, Harties, Ackermans, have places throughout Africa and throughout the rest of the world? Have you ever wondered how that happens? But what it did was literally to tell people, we will make clothes in Pep for cheaper than you can make it yourself. We will give you food for cheaper than you can grow it yourself. We will give you meat for cheaper than you can actually raise the animals yourself. And that's exactly what they did. But what did this do to our country? The people became reliant on a large corporation. That was the only goal. If you go and look at Shoprite and Checkers as warehouses, you will understand, because you can take off with a freaking plane inside there, do a couple of turns, and then come and land again. You need to understand, where does that come from? It doesn't come from one man, Chris de Wiese. Chris de Wiese is empowered to do so. And you will think, if you think of Cyril and the money scandal on his farm, Fala, think about Chris de Wiese caught in the UAE with suitcases full of money. What happened to him? Chris de Wiese was a financial advisor. Why is he a financial advisor? To President Nelson Mandela, to Thabo Mbeki, to Jacob Zuma. He was there all along. Why? Why is he a financial advisor to the president of the country? Have you ever wondered that? So this is Becker and Chris de Wiese. Control people's clothing supply, control people's food supply. Make sure that they make themselves dependent on large corporations for those basic needs. Their information, as well as the clothing that they wear and the food that they eat. Then the minerals of the country, very important. And then addictions. Addictions, crucial to the plan. So who do you have for the minerals of the country and addictions? The Oppenheimers. The Oppenheimers and then the Ruperts. So the Oppenheimer family is the most senior family in the country when it comes to control. Nicky Oppenheimer serves on the committee of 300. He's actually a committee member. His father, Harry Oppenheimer, before him, was also a committee member. The Ruperts don't even serve on the committee of 300. They're not that important. But if you look at Nicky Oppenheimer and his father, Harry Oppenheimer, you will see a history there. And I've asked the members on this channel very recently to look at my video of Cyril Ramaphosa, the most popular video on this channel. It's almost got 90,000 views now. And look at the individual pictures. There's a picture there that shows Cyril Ramaphosa literally sitting with Nicky Oppenheimer, Harry's son, signing the agreement to have a private airport at OR Tambo. After Malusi Gigaba made the big mistake of saying that he was going to approve it, there was a huge public outcry, and then he withdrew that approval, and guess who went and signed it afterwards? This is during Jacob Zuma's tenure as president. Cyril Ramaphosa. Why? Because he owes a big debt to Nicky Oppenheimer and his family because they made him wealthy. When he started a union under Harry Oppenheimer's wing, Harry trained him how to get control of the mine workers so that he can get more minerals out of the ground. Most of the minerals in South Africa was literally extracted for the benefit of the United Kingdom and the US. So Anglo-American is literally Britain and America, Britain and the US, and them pillaging our mineral wealth. And many of you might not agree with me. Go and study the proper history of the diamond fields and the gold fields and the platinum mines, etc. And once you understand them, come talk to me again. Because the Oppenheimer family had full control over that. They gave all the control to the people that they wanted to run the rest of the mines around them. Cyril Ramaphosa was one of them, with many other people. Patrice Motsepe, brother-in-law, you keep it in the family. Many other people involved as well. So these are people that these families can play to their heart's content. I want to come to the last family. You can call them second in charge, the Ruperts. So just like with the Rothschild family, who in the end run the whole freaking world, you get the Ruperts, the Roy Pert, the red horse, where with the Rothschilds, it's the red sign. Why did they gain such massive prominence in this country? You do not become a dollar billionaire without committee of 300 assistants. It is not possible. If the Council of 13 Families don't help you via the committee and all of their pawns to become a multi-billionaire, you will not become that. There are a few exceptions, and they are actually incredible exceptions, and that is why they are under constant attack. But if you look at the Ruperts as a family, everything was focused on addiction. So cigarettes and alcohol, that was their main goal. Keep the people placated. Make sure that you addict them as much as possible. What do you use for that? NASPAS, the SABC, all the government institutions, through advertising, putting out a narrative, and you make it huge. And you addict as many people as possible. And this was very powerful in South Africa. So there you have 4 families playing 4 different roles, all vitally important to run us so that we relinquish our freedom to a government. Not us being the government and believing in the ballot box and using it to make ourselves free, because we can. Even with the current constitution, we can do that. Otherwise, I'm wasting my time here. It is possible. And the faster you realize that there is a method to get to a new system, the better. Because there's only that method or war. And you need to decide which one you choose. Many people have already chosen war. I will fight them to the end. Many of the secessionists are part of that problem. They're already preparing on their farms to fight their war against the people that want to come into the Cape and into KwaZulu-Natal or wherever they want to secede. So once you understand people's mindsets, wow, we almost have 800 people watching. 749 people. Thank you so much for joining us. The mindset that we have is vital. that we understand that we have the power. How do we have that power under the current constitution and the current system? At the ballot box. That is the only place you can exercise your democratic right, where you are higher than anyone in government on that day. And our constitution allows that solidly. And in this week, I will expose how our government might even try to postpone the 2024 elections. And this is not allowed through the biggest subversion ever, fake direct elections. And once you understand how that has been subverted, when I started the group #direct elections, we grew to over 30,000 people in 2 weeks. That is huge growth for any new concept, especially political. And then it was subverted instantly. Things were run off the ground to stop it dead in its tracks. How is that achieved? You spread something that sounds similar, but it's nothing like what we are trying to do at all. And you just pull the people with, because there's always a promise of doing it instantly. We will do it chop, quick. We get enough people, kick the government out, and we put a new system in place. It doesn't work that way. So I'm getting to the solution part of things before I go back to pawns that people use and how they are controlled. I'm talking about the 4 families. Many pawns that they use. And don't forget that the Ruperts are also involved in weapons manufacturing. My father worked for the Ruperts, for Rupert International, manufacturing weapons. Top secret programs where they even used the University of Stellenbosch and their facilities to do exactly what they needed to on the international market. In other words, we here in South Africa created superpowers elsewhere, not here, in other countries. And anyone that is still on the narrative that we made the best weapons for ourselves, it was an experiment. You were absolutely used and abused. So anyone that thinks that we were fighting a real war in Angola and a real war on the border, you were taken for a ride. It was all fake. And I don't want to minimize the people that died. On both sides, people were manipulated. But to the global elites, it was just another move of a pawn on the chessboard. It's all it is to them. And even the Ruperts and Oppenheimers are part of those chess moves. And make no mistake, the Oppenheimer family is very powerful. It's not just about money. It's about what you are able to do and not do. And like I said, when I was in Parliament, I could see literally how the leader of the United Kingdom at the time, besides the Queen, Margaret Thatcher, gave instructions to Harry Oppenheimer and to Anton Rupert when they were still alive. She told them how the 1994 transition was going to take place. Clearly, in no uncertain terms. I might have been 19 years old at the time, a troop in the Air Force, but I understood exactly what they were saying as I was standing at their table. So, to me, it's not a conspiracy theory that other people are running the country, because F.W. de Klerk, who was our president at the time, was sitting on the far side of the table. He didn't have a say that entire evening in what they were discussing. In fact, he was out of earshot. So, why is this possible? Quite simply, for one simple reason. The people of the country were indoctrinated to believe that there's politicians and parties out there that care for them, that will want to improve their life. Now, what did they have to make people believe an improvement of life is? And this is the main control that is exercised over us. Consumerism. What do you want? Do you want a fancy watch? Do you want a fancy car, a fancy motorbike, a fancy house? We're going to give you all of these things if you are this or that person. If you comply with these things, criteria, then you can have all these things. If you don't want to be in a financial system, you can have nothing. If you're not willing to get a bond for your house, you're not going to have a place to live. Sorry, my friend. You're going to pay for 20 years or 30 years. You're going to pay that bank. that banks can loan money from the central bank, which hasn't got money. It's fiat currency. They're going to loan that money to you that you're never going to see. They're going to charge you interest on money that you're never going to see. And you're going to pay on that for the rest of your life, on money they never had. But you see, what does that do? It keeps you occupied in labor. So you are literally collateral, and the Security Exchange Council in the US every year, and my members have got the links to those documents where you can go and read it up yourself, has to report on what the labor force, the citizens of South Africa, has done for the world economy. Let me prove to you how they control Eskom, how they control us as consumers in the country. And I have 2 articles here. We just went to 800 people watching. Welcome. So the IMF says to us, downsize Eskom debt. IMF urges government. They're telling government to take on the debt now. What does it mean? We have to now fork out that debt. And it's over 300 billion rand. So you can expect Godwana to make an announcement in the midterm that government will take on Eskom's debt, because the IMF is telling our government to do so, to get rid of Eskom debt, downsize Eskom's debt. The IMF says Eskom and Transit net must be improved decisively and quickly. The economy is expected to continue its recovery. Excess revenues should be used to reduce debt. This is the IMF. Then the US is telling us, expand your grid, address Eskom solvency to unlock private investment, says US Treasury. Why is the US Treasury telling us what to do? And why is no one questioning, but why is an American Treasury telling us what to do in South Africa? Because they don't want their interests messed up yet. They still want to be able to do certain things. There's still more minerals to pillage at this stage. So they want to make sure that Eskom keeps going. But here's the kicker. What are they telling us to do? They're saying that we need to expand our grid, because the biggest constraint is that our power grid is not where they're putting up propellers and solar panels. So we now need to put in a massive amount of grid that's going to cost us a fortune to get power lines to where they want to put the wind turbines and where they want to put the solar panels. But no one will tell you this, you see, because you're going to pay for it as a South African citizen. They're not telling you to become as energy independent as you can, to grow as much food as you can in your garden, for those that want to. Those that don't want to is fine. But encourage your citizens to be self-reliant. You'll not find a single politician doing that. And you need to ask yourself why. They had to make us weak because they know that we are the government. We are in charge of the country. Under our current constitution, that is actually the case. But our constitution has also given the people elected in this fraudulent system, electoral system, given the politicians unfettered power. If they decide that there is a justification for it, they can take all our human rights away. That puts them in power in the 5 years in between elections. We pick representatives, we don't pick them. We pick a party who picks representatives who then governs in our stead. Now, who do they govern? Who do they govern for? Do they represent us, or do they represent these overseas entities? Just like Andre de Ruyter said, there's going to be a roundtable discussion in Eskom with international interested bodies on what we should do about the power situation in the country. Why don't they have South African industry interested people or real energy experts in that roundtable? Have you ever wondered why that is not the case? Because these people care about their interests, and investors will also be there. What do the investors say? That we have to pay to put in solar panels, and we have to pay to put in propellers all over the freaking country. That's what they want us to do, because they know it'll collapse the power grid. Not only that, it'll make the middle class unlivable. We won't have a middle class anymore. The middle class won't be able to survive. My wife told me earlier today that a study found that you need at least 45,000 rand a month to live comfortably in South Africa, whatever that means. But the thing is, the majority of South Africans, the average income is half of that, which means that the majority of South Africans is nowhere near living comfortably. Nowhere near living comfortably. And you need to ask yourself, why is that the case? I told you I will only keep you up for 30 minutes. I want to come back to the people that the Ruperts, the Beckers, the Wieses, and the Oppenheimers, that they influence. Cyril Ramaphosa is one of those people. Patrice Motsepe is one of those people. They were picked when they were young, and they were built up to a place where they would later play major roles. Tokyo Sexuale, many other people were made billionaires. And Cyril Ramaphosa is a billionaire. They were made billionaires so that they could become part of the elite. Jacob Zuma is not a billionaire, people. So you have to ask yourself, there's something wrong with this picture. Now, I'm not saying that Jacob Zuma is a saint. What I'm saying is he's not a billionaire. I know that for a fact. There's something wrong with this picture if he is this villain that stole all the country's money. There's something very wrong with this picture that's been put out there. And you need to ask yourself, are you willing to take the step to do the most democratic thing you can possibly do? And that is to vote for a system that will get rid of the parties and will make it possible for us to elect people directly. Vote for a president that can represent us, that can be a moral compass for the country, not your ruler. Vote for MPs in parliament independently that are over constituencies that can literally be held accountable because they live in your area. They represent a certain amount of people, not a party. It'll change the face of South African governance completely. But we cannot do it with this fraudulent direct elections that they're trying to push through parliament right now. It'll give parties more power. Don't fall for the lie. We have to change the system completely. For that, we need constitutional change. Our constitution says that we are a multi-party democracy. That part needs to be removed. I'm not against having a constitution at all. I'm against what is written in this constitution. The people always need to be the people that run the country. And how can we do that now? Through one thing only and nothing else. And that is the ballot box. There is no other way for us to do that. The only other exception is war with bloodshed. Who do you get into power once you do that? Another dictator. A war situation is the easiest thing to manipulate with money. If we can get citizens in this country to focus on making themselves as self-reliant as possible, and you can use fiat currency, normal cash, as long as it's a proper form of exchange, you can use that to make yourself self-reliant. And you can help other people to do the same once you have achieved what you need to be able to survive and be as independent of government and corporate control as you can. Wow, we're almost at 900 people watching. Welcome to the people that have joined later. Please go and watch us from the beginning. We're finishing up right now. But the people that run the country is us. We run the country. I was in Sea Point, where a crowd of people chased the police away. Why were they in charge at that moment? In that moment, they used what is called common law. And common law can be a horrific thing when people decide to kill innocent people, as happened recently. So be careful what you wish for. Common law can only work, in my opinion, properly in a civil society. when you unleash common law on any Tom, Dick, and Harry and uncivil people, what you get is savagery and barbarism. And I don't want to live in a space where that happens. So it's important that we first change ourselves as citizens. We make ourselves as self-reliant as possible, as independent of government and corporate control as possible. This doesn't mean that we don't need government. This doesn't mean that corporations can't exist. They absolutely can. It doesn't even mean that smart cities can't exist. You can be as smart as you want to be, but leave me to live my life the way I want to. You can have parallel economies. Currently, it's not allowed because you cannot tax bartering. You cannot tax people from bartering. And I can tell you now, at the World Economic Forum, the plans were laid out to go without cash in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, I predict that they won't get it right again, but they will certainly force it by 2030. And this is why I've told people, we have till latest 2029 to not just have changed the governance system in the country, but to have built up a strong, resilient citizenry that can face any other country in the world. And if we can do that, no one will be able to touch us. No foreign military will do anything to a country where the citizenry is prepared and self-reliant. No military. They will not dare do that. So South Africa is poised and in a very good position at the moment for the people to become self-reliant. This should become a common thing spoken about. And these families, make them irrelevant. These families that have controlled the way you've lived, the fact that you must have another bottle of alcohol, the fact that you must light another cigarette, all the consumerist items that you must have. Go through that battle in your mind and try and change how you live. And then you will be prepared to face what the global elites want to bring to our country. So remember, we have the elites in our country that are controlled by global elites. Those global elites are not going away. They are not going to just give up what they are doing. But they might just leave us alone if we become resilient enough for them to know that they cannot overcome the will of the people in this country. We are already winning. I want to thank you for everything you're doing to make that possible. I want you to please like this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Share this video with your friends and family on your social media posts. And the most important thing that we all need to do is to show more love in our lives. We need to do everything from a place of love. And that love needs to be for yourself first, for your family, for the community around you. And we all need to take stock of ourselves before we can do that. And love is an extremely powerful force. And in South Africa, just everywhere I've toured in the country, it's clear that love conquers all, everywhere I've gone. And places where people have exercised barbarism and savagery and many other things is a place where love is not present. The moment you make love present there, it becomes impossible for those things to flourish. So it's up to us. We govern this country. So let's become citizens instead of subjects. Behave like citizens instead of subjects. And be proud of what we are doing. Be happy to say to your neighbor, look at these fruit trees I've planted and the fruit that I'm picking. I will love to share with you. Look at this garden. I'm busy putting in a veggie garden or whatever the case may be. Or I've started a business from home. And the moment we start to do that again and get the pride back in what we are doing, all the news around us that we need to be aware of cannot influence the outcome in the country. So I can bring you news all the time to make you aware of things. The main focus is self-reliance, becoming independent of government and corporate control, and showing love. Because the moment you do that, you can transform an entire society. I really want to thank all of you that came into this live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. It's almost 40 minutes in now. For those of you that came in later, please watch the beginning, go through the detail, and understand the power that you have to go to the ballot box. And we need to make sure that it remains a paper system. I can tell you, if you have representatives at every voting station, that cheating cannot take place in the current system. I've been there, I've seen it. The moment we go to some electronic system and they'll try and push for this, it's a very different situation. So come 2024, people, we have to make sure that we show our intent to get a proper direct election system in place and vote for organizations, movements, civil organizations, whatever the case may be, that have independent people that want to change the party system, that want us to elect our president directly, elect our MPs directly, elect our councillors directly, elect our mayors directly. It's a small step, but a very big step in the right direction. To do that properly, we need to change how we live. We actually need to care about the governance in the country. Now, why is this important? Why can't you just sit back? And this will be my final closing statement. Why can't you just sit back and say, I'm not interested in any of this. I'm just going to carry on living my life. Because you will not be left alone. And a lot of people have said, but how do I convince my family that certain things are going to happen? They need to prepare themselves. And I have a simple answer. Things will happen to them. As long as you set an example, things will happen to them that'll change their mind. If they still want to be part of the greater good ideology of the Bavarian Illuminati, they were always there, and you were never going to change their mind. But those that are hard to change their mind, that believe in freedom, things will happen to them. They will change their mind. Let's just hope it's in enough time for them to be able to prepare themselves for any eventuality in future. Thank you very much for watching. And Thursday evening, you can join me in the members live chat. You click the join button underneath the video. You can sign up just for 1 month. You can cancel at any time, and you'll have access to all the videos. I've also introduced another level after a year, which is the interactive level. And I want to welcome the people that have upgraded to the interactive level. Once a month, we will have a Zoom session together, one-on-one, where I will be able to interact with you. I've given you lots of documents, things to read, and information as well to the interactive members. Please go and check that in the community tab. For the members on the channel, in the community tab, there's lots of info there, as well as for the normal subscribers. I really want to thank you for being a part of this community. Please like this video. We have over 500 likes. We have over 700 people watching. Let's see if we can get over 600 likes for this video. Thank you so much for the over 800 people that signed in. I think it's a new record for the channel. It's really important that we get this information out there, that you consider this. And if I say anything that annoy you, just take it as information. A lot of people have said to me, Desmond, initially I couldn't listen to your videos. It was so frustrating, and now I can't wait to listen because I know that you are brutal for a reason. So the people that find it offensive, I'm not going to apologize. I'm doing things the way I am for a reason. It's worked. And we are competing literally with SABC and ENCA on the news front. And it's so important that we are able to do that, to give that different perspective. And I thank all of you for making this channel the success that it is and for its rapid growing at the moment. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. We're almost at 600 likes, people. Come on, let's get to 600 likes. It will really be awesome. Make government irrelevant. Absolutely, Marlene. That is spot on. You make them irrelevant. You need to be the government. So no one else can govern you if you are already in charge of your own life. It's not possible. Good night, Anastasia, Erika, Philip, Kitty, Sue, Hubert. Good night, Jacobus, Gerardus. We've got 600 likes. Thanks so much. Have a good evening. I'm going to go spend some time with my wife. She works very, very hard every day. Please, if you're not on the channel, subscribe to Lauren Evanthia. Watch her future videos, her past videos, all the many fights that are happening on the ground right now. The funds that we get from this channel, we use in this fight. And we're going to need a lot more in future. But you making it possible. I really want to thank you for that. This is a massive, massive groundswell effort, and it cannot be stopped. We already have that critical mass. Thank you so much. Good night. Lots of love to all of you.